And welcome to another episode of More Than Dice. I'm Gonzo.
I'm John.
I'm Kathy.
And welcome to episode 142.
142.
I couldn't remember if it was one or two. Where tonight we're going to talk about hobby fatigue, how you can get over it, what it is, and any type of thing related to getting burnt out. So, other than that, let's give a shout out to all of our sponsors real quick. We want to thank Metalhead Minis for selling products of ours and having a place for us to sell everything that we have and do, not only for More Than Dice, but Warfare Weekend also. Guys, go check it out. There will be a link eventually pop up in there, which I actually need to do that. I think the link I put on there broke and it's not working right now.
Yeah. Oh, somebody mentioned that in the stream the other day that the link was broken, so I turned off that prompt.
Okay. Which link was it?
And then I forgot. It's the one that's still in there, but it's turned off.
Okay. I'll just go back in there and fix it. Maybe John can go in there and post it every so often. He could be our bot just every once in a while to post it.
John bot.
The link, I could do that.
Yeah. But we want to thank Lynn, of course. Don't forget, you can also check out her Twitch stream also, Metalhead Minis, where she does like streams in the morning. She does like morning streams. Tectonic Craft Studios, want to thank Dan the Man for always supplying really cool MDF laser printout stuff for us. He also supports a lot of conventions, and we really like that. Helps them out to get terrain, because we know terrain is a bitch when it comes to convention.
Rough on all these conventions canceled, because I know Las Vegas Open hasn't canceled, but take my word for it, it's going to cancel.
Yeah.
They will.
I have
just plan for it.
I
mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this out.
Las Vegas is canceling everything.
And then we want to thank Muson Minis for hosting our files and getting the word out about us and shoving us around to different things. Guys, if you don't watch us here, you can listen to every single podcast on every streaming service. iHeartRadio. We just put in for Amazon podcasts. So we should be on there pretty soon. But
Spotify, we're on.
Yeah, we're on the
usual ones.
On everything. So there's always a way to find us, and you can listen to us become really stupid at times and just ramble all the time.
A rant. I'm known for that.
Oh, what? No. Not after you've had a few drinks in you. No, never. John is such a cuddly teddy bear.
I only ever have one drink here. It's just very large and sometimes aggressive.
So with that...
John is just a teddy bear.
Kathy, what are you drinking tonight?
I am drinking hot tea, and I have with me a rum and coke.
Rum and coke.
But I did just get handed my hot tea, and it's actually too hot for me to drink right now. Shame about Bond being moved again.
Yeah, the James Bond release got moved again.
Yeah.
Caused one of the cinema to have to basically close down.
Yeah, I think it's really now in like Easter 2021.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not going to even look at movies showtimes until I feel comfortable going back into a theater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John, what are you drinking today?
Well, solidarity with hopefully what Captain Mizzy chose, I have a Force Blow, which is Kraken rum and orange juice.
Whatever. Kept busy. Tonight, since medication's all done, I am drinking some Maker's Mark. Only about like one finger's worth. So, other than that, guys, please take care of yourself. Please look after each other. Please wear your mask. Be safe. Wash your hands. Everything. Keep an eye on each other. If you haven't heard from your friend in a while, just send a little thing. I had to do that today because I haven't heard from somebody. And they're doing just fine. But hey, I would rather that than, something else. So, from all of us. Oh, yeah, we do have. There was, before we do that, we have a salute. Terry Goodkind. The author. I think that was actually the last week, though, wasn't it?
No, that was this week.
Was it this week? I thought for some reason I was thinking it was last week. passed away. I've never read any of his books, I have to say, but I do know of the books. I couldn't find any reasons or what happened to him, but I know that he was very well liked by a lot of people, and his books were very well liked. So we'll raise a glass to him also. Gonzo using magic and in to keep it. Yeah, of course. See, y'all don't really know that I'm actually in outer space, flying around in a circle.
There's no gravity.
Oh, I have a gravity machine that does it for me. Sounds like whatever. Can I have a drink? Guys, please take care of each other. Please take care of yourself. Cheers.
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 Oh, that's good. All right, so let's go ahead and switch over to me. Painting. I think I have everything set up correctly. Yay, I did. So I told them to remind me in case I didn't. I messed up on my Necron. See this really cool one? Blah blah blah. I got the cool, color shift paint and so on and so forth. I like all the, I like the red. I got to do a little bit of touch up on the green up here, and because some of the black got into it. No big deal. I forgot what color shift paint I used.
Great, googly moogly.
I forgot what color
Just paint it out on something.
I tried and it didn't do anything, so I had to do some airbrushing to get it and go. Because I thought it was like this red goblin, but it isn't. So I'm going to have to take my airbrush out and airbrush a bunch of spoons. That way I can see what it is, because I was pretty upset about that.
That's pretty funny.
It is. Way to go, Gonzo. Thanks for being a dumbass. So, but I mean, he's almost done for the most part. I got, just touching up and everything else, but for the most part, he looks pretty sweet. Oh, I got to flip back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me tilt my camera this way. I mean, I don't know what else I want to do. I got to do some stuff in here, and then I got to do something with this. I don't know. I may do.
Oh, Banyan has a good point. Did you talk about it on stream? Because if you did, it's possible there's a VOD you could go back and watch where you were working on it.
I think I may have said, but I was not sure.
Because I think you said which one you liked better.
Yeah, but oh well. If anything, I just bring out my airbrush a bunch of spoons, and go with it.
Captain Izzy's pretty sure you did.
Yes, he did, says Captain Mizzy.
So something I got to work on. I got to figure out what it is. But other than that, I mean, these look pretty sweet because I have a vehicle that I wanted to test out the thing on, so I can just prime that black and then kind of go with it. But I got like a bunch of different things to try out in here, and gotta do some stuff in here and here. So, oh well. I do need to work on Thanos and get him done. I need to get that purple. Where is that?
Purple. Purple.
GD purple. So I can paint his face. GD purple. So I went with a kind of a bronze gauntlet. Does it really show up as a bronze?
Oh, you can see that it's different than the gold.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very distinct.
Good. And I did a dry brush of a little bit of silver over the top of it just to kind of give it a little bit of, type thing. So.
The base material I'm using is a pain in the butt to use once the models are on there.
Hey, avocado kids.
And then, of course, I need to do this, and he's almost done. I just need to do lay black on him, the leader. So let's talk about hobby fatigue. Hobby fatigue is a real thing. I don't care what anybody says. You can get burnt out pretty quickly painting miniatures, putting together miniatures, you name it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't understand this concept either. Crash Ramos says, did you see that Reaper is discontinuing some of the paint line?
Oh, no. Did not.
I heard something about that. Are any of the Reaper clears on it, Trash? I'm relying on you.
this might be good.
No. Time to stock up.
Buy it all. Buy all.
Is
the
there a reason
pure
why they're discontinuing them, or is it just?
and
Things
probably
that
sale.
are less popular, yeah, I suppose.
Be popular.
It's such a nice saturated orange.
Yeah, but not
And it
everyone realizes it.
mixes really well with that phthalo blue. I mixed it with the phthalo green for a really nice green color too the other day, which is a revelation. Oh, this is tea, avocado kids. This is Earl Grey. Steaming hot.
Oh.
Just the way Picard likes it.
It's true.
So the paint palette, week 2, still working.
Good.
Red is still there. I mean, it's a little bit watery and such, but, you know, I've left it there on purpose to see how it would get, so it's been okay. Where is my...
Yeah, I don't really have a hobby fit. Does anybody in the chat get the hobby fatigue? Do you get burnt out? Like if you're painting an army or you've got one squad done and now you've realized that you have, you know, a whole another horde. You have like 2 more squads of the same thing and you're like, oh my God. Because that doesn't happen to me.
Or like when you're on day 17 of painting the Daily Bugle, and you're like, fuck, why won't this thing end?
I was impressed. I was impressed with how much more that you wanted to do on that, where I would have expected you to call it done sooner, but you're like, but then I want to do this. And I'm like, that's actually a good idea.
Yeah.
And I didn't expect it. And then I think, well, that's going to be the last thing. He'll be done with it. And then you're like, but I'd like to do this other thing and tweak it this way. And I'm like, that is another good idea. And that will make it look better.
Yeah, it just kept going and spiraling. It's just my eyes were bigger than my stomach, so to speak.
It did turn out good, though. You must be pleased about that.
Oh, I am pleased how it turned out. It's just, there's a couple points where I'm like, fuck. Like, if you ever see a day when I'm not working on the same thing again, that's my version of hobby fatigue. It's like, I cannot be asked to paint this fucking thing right now.
Well, and why not paint something different? I mean, why not work on one thing one day and then you feel like maybe for whatever reason you're gonna suck it if you try and work on that thing the next day. Just pick something else that you've got primed. I do that all the time.
And see, that's probably the reason why you say you don't have that much hobby fatigue.
I always have a whole bunch of things going on. I've got countless. I mean, I could count them, but that would be boring to wait for me to count them all. At varying stages of, of prepped. I have just primed. I have zenithal, my half-as zenithal. I have things that are half painted, things that are almost done. Just varying stages. Bases that could be painted because, when you feel like you haven't painted in a few days and you feel rusty, or you feel stiff, or you were just doing yard work and your hands are shaking or whatever, and you don't feel like you can do the freehand on this thing that you're working on, obviously. Well, now that's a great time to just slap some base coats on some bases or do a little dry brushing.
It became hobby time, and suddenly you're like, I can't paint. I've been drinking too much. That's when you do the little stuff.
Yeah, that's when you just do the base coats or the dry brushing. Just something really easy that doesn't take a ton of fine brush control.
So Russ mentions he doesn't get much time to hobby and never seem to get much done. It makes it hard to feel fulfilled. May I suggest hobby streak? Half an hour per day, every day. You don't seem like you get much done, but the next thing you know, you got a whole forest painted up, and then you just keep going. It never gets overwhelming. You just schedule in, that time, and you just keep going. I will heartily suggest it. 1,000 and Jesus Christ, however many days in. 1,033 days in.
And
So,
that's the thing where sometimes you just like, if I can just get through this half hour, and then other times you're like, you've got a half hour and you just in the groove and you just blow right past it, and pretty
yeah,
soon, 2 hours have passed.
yeah. And if you're in that sort of hobby, God, my brain just stopped.
Funk.
The hobby funk, yeah, doing a half an hour at a time, it might either break you out or it's not overwhelming. You'd be like, I can get a half an hour done. It's not that bad. And then sometimes you take the time to like clean your desk or whatever, and because someone mentioned that earlier, cleaning your desk helps a lot. Getting it all cleaned up, make it look fresh, doesn't look as I don't know, crazy. Like
Chaotic.
yeah, because it looks like there's so much, like, oh, there's so much stuff here. Then you clean up, like, it's really not that much stuff. There's this guy who's done, this guy who's done, a guy back there who's a test model, a guy I'm not going to finish for a while. These guys are pretty much done. I can take a bunch of stuff off my desk. Yeah, so, yeah, I understand with the pain. Well, just try and do it whenever you can. There's another thing similar that the guys were doing called Hobby 300, where they try and hobby for 300 days out of the year, just a bit. Just try when you get there. Don't worry about don't worry about what you're getting done. Just work on making the most of the time you've got. Just sit there and like, maybe you can only get these bases prime black today. Hey, that's
Something.
that's enough. It'll get you progress. Little progress is still progress. Trust me on that. Speaking of which, I'm going to prime some bases.
I just had to go back and read through all the chat.
Yeah, there's a lot of chat.
John has to remind Banyan to try these translucent paints when he goes to do his black order.
Mm-hmm.
And Nosferatu is just about done with these death guards. Nurgle, help him.
Awesome. We'll see if Banyan actually paints anything. He painted a while, so I would sure remember that.
You have to paint things now, Banyan. Shadows over Scotland is burnt out on RPGs.
I've actually been there back in the day, There's a point where I'm just like, I still showed up for them, but at a point I was going through the motions. Not really giving it my all, and I hate that.
Oh, I'm dying to play.
It's hard. All you can do is hope the group takes a break, because it's really hard for one person in a group to take a break. So that's the toughest one, is the role-playing hobbies. You just have to hope either you have to bow out of the group, talk to the GM, see if they can work a way to have your character leave at a point where they could come back, or maybe the group wants to take a break and you just haven't discussed it, so no one knows. It's tough. It may be like the toughest, because miniature gaming and all that stuff, the 2-player games are easy. You can just walk away. Like any hobby, if you're playing WoW, let's say, you can just walk away. I mean, sure, you're like, oh, my whole group's doing the rating. You can just not log in. It is surprisingly just that easy. But I understand the feeling of not wanting to let your group down. It's always good to discuss it. Like, so I said earlier during the preamble, my unit in MechWarrior Online is doing competitive play. And a couple of the guys, like last night, was like, hey, I really want to, but this happened, I'm not feeling it. Another guy's like, well, I got this thing. I'm like, hey, dude, it's okay. Real life comes first. It's all good. You don't feel like you're letting us down. We'll work it out, I always appreciate when someone feels that way, but, you've got to take care of yourself, because at the end of the day, unless you're married happily, no one else is gonna. So if you need that time yourself to not do something, it's like there are days when I'm like, maybe I can just not hobby streak today. Maybe I can just be done with it. I mean, I end up hobby streaking anyways, but, if you get in that point where you just literally can't pick up a paintbrush, then fucking don't. But don't let it overwhelm you and become like, oh, I haven't painted so long, it's not worth it to start again. It's always worth it to start again. Try and make a bargain with yourself, like, all right, I'm going to take 3 days off, and then I'm going to jump back in, and start painting again, or start.
Especially when it's like, I'm just gonna hobby for 15 minutes, or I'm just gonna hobby for a half an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you struggle to get through that 15 minutes or a half an hour, and other times you get in the groove. all of a sudden, unexpectedly maybe, and before you know it, an hour's passed or even 2 hours.
Yeah, and I
But
always
yeah,
like have something simple you can paint. I got these walls I'm working on. I'm not going fast. I'm just putting paint on them when I can. I'm not really not like worried about going fast or anything. I'm just chilling, putting paint. I got times like this. I could base a shit ton of models at once if I'm feeling just like basing stuff. If you get in the mood for something, trying to have something like Kathy does at every stage. I got some guys I can put hardcore finishing highlights on if I get in the mood. It's just a rare mood, but still. I went back and touched up another model because I was in the mood. I'm like, oh, I want to touch him up. Let me touch him up. So you
yeah.
can do that. Sometimes you're in the mood for that. Sometimes you're not.
And often my Tuesdays are that way because I'll be busy doing other things on the weekend sometimes, and I won't get any painting done on a Saturday, Sunday, and even on a Monday. And so Tuesday, I'm like, I feel rusty, because just like anything, you got to warm up for, like sports or music, whatever. You gotta warm up a little bit. You can't just, play your symphony cold.
Yeah, whether it be
And
physically or mentally, you got to warm up and get into the right mindset and groove, so to speak.
so usually, like, I'm painting the ancient one, which is a big model, and it's taking me quite a while to work on it. But Tuesday, I'll probably work on one of these other models that I have sitting next to me for a little bit, just to kind of warm up. Maybe put some base coats on one of these Reaper models.
Mm-hmm.
How do you do? So, Kathy, being commission painter and stuff, and someone says, "Hey, will you paint this unit for me or this army for me?" type thing. How do you get over, the fatigue of painting one model at a time when you're on a deadline?
Oddly enough, I usually have people who are like, whenever you get to it. I do much better on the deadline. If somebody says I need this done by this time, I'm much better with it than I am with an open-ended thing. I prefer deadlines. Like when I wanted to paint the quad color challenge Reaper miniature,
Mm-hmm.
I painted extra. I painted many extra hours. I stayed up late painting. I painted during the podcast. And then I found out that the deadline was the day before I thought it was. So it didn't matter anyways. But he's done. So.
Yeah, deadlines can be good and bad. Some people work with deadlines. Sometimes they're good for you, but sometimes they're also bad. You've got to recognize in what state of mind you are. If you're not totally burnt out, but you need direction, and sometimes it is what it is. You just need direction rather than that. You can do a deadline like, hey, I want to get X all painted. Like, I wanted to finish all my Marvel Crisis Protocol models before I bought any new ones.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not going to go and find any new ones to buy until I get done what I got.
Yeah,
done
that
what
never
I
works
got,
for
I can
me.
buy new ones. And again, I'm probably not going to right now because I'm painting Legion.
My self-made deadlines don't work as well as other concrete deadlines.
Well, you have to start
That's just
treating your
me, though.
self-made ones like a real like another deadline, like a work deadline. You gotta treat them all the same.
Yeah.
If you're like, I'm gonna do this by this date, you gotta go for it. And set aggressive deadlines for yourself. If you know you've got extra leeway, don't use that leeway. Don't factor that in. Set yourself, like if you know you've got a week and a half, but it's probably going to be 2 weeks, give yourself a week and a half. Like, I'm going to do this in a week and a half. You get extra time. It's all good. But, you'd be surprised how much it helps you get into it because you want to challenge yourself.
Sort of like whenever you're painting for like Adepticon or getting ready for a convention. That's where I'm like, oh, now sometimes I'm like, damn it, I have to get this done. But my butt works harder when I get it done.
Yep. That's how I am. If I have these convention deadlines, I get more stuff of my own done. Like the Suzerain of Desire would be done already instead of sitting in a box so that it doesn't collect dust. But I like what Trasharama said here. He said, but for serious, sometimes Twitch is a good way to stay in, and sometimes you get inspired by it. And I agree with that too. It's been a lot of fun for me to watch other people's Twitch streams and chat with the other painters and look at what other people are doing, look at what paints they're using, look at, how they're making their bases.
Mm-hmm. It also becomes like that social painting that I think many of us were used to.
Yeah.
Maybe that's how your store did it, maybe not. Social painting is so much more enjoyable. It's sort of why we do what we do here, I know not all of you paint or hobby while you're doing this, but it is a good idea because now you've got, set hobby time with hopefully some people you enjoy listening to. I mean, you're still listening to us. So.
I feel like I need to get in on the Reaper Discord hobby hangout thing.
Oh yeah.
What's it called, Trasharama? It's they have like a voice chat. You can
it's
your
like
video
hobby
chat
hangout.
or whatever.
Yeah.
And you can just hang out. Paint club.
Yeah.
Thank you, the Reaper Paint Club. Just to hang out with other painters and chat while painting.
Absolutely, that's what that's for. I mean, it's a good idea. It'll help not only not get you to hobby funk, but it'll help motivate you to continue painting. You got people there. There will be plenty of people to ask questions of an answer. Like I miss the hobby hangouts we used to do on Google Hangouts. It wasn't too often or whatever. Someone would start one, jump in.
Yeah.
We tried it for Hobby Streak for a while back when there was more than just me posting in that fucking channel.
I would definitely like to do more with hobby hangouts or Reaper Paint Club and stuff like that. Maybe paint in the evening sometimes.
Work it out with your local people. If you got local people, say like, hey, let's get a hobby night. My buddies do that sometimes. I don't join them because they choose the worst times ever, but I know it's there if I want to. Just some hobby time. Like, hey, we're all going to get together and we're going to paint on this corner, on this day, Thursday nights or whatever.
I think I need like a weekend one because if I want to include my European friends in my, in a hangout, if I want to do something with my European friends, it needs to be earlier in the day, like the time I'm normally streaming during the week. So it would have to be on like a Saturday or on a Monday, since those are days I don't stream. So.
Yeah, and I definitely feel that they're who said that? Legionnaires. So Twitch can help you get you out of there, and it's not just hobby funk and hobby fatigue right now. 2020 has a lot of fatigues to it.
I feel like it's been a good community just to be able to, between Twitch and Discord, and there's a lot of people that kind of cross over on the Twitch and the Discord servers that I belong to, that it's a friendly community. There's a lot of socializing going on virtually, but we all feel like there's some time in the future at a convention. I know what's a convention, right? That we will meet face to face, at some point.
This too shall pass. We'll be back. And actually, you're right, Shadow Stone. Keep thinking support networks. That's literally what it is. Literally, you could think of a lot of your friends as just your emotional support network. I mean, we all need the friends and everything. I mean, it helps. The littlest things help bring you out of a funk.
And I do miss when the Battle Bunker closed. That they had the paint bar, and we used to every week go there and paint with other people. And I had the most fun sitting around that bar painting with all these people, and they became my friends, and and I missed it.
Yep.
I do. I still miss it.
And that's what painting was talking about. Drop zone social painting. We had 2 large banks of stations that people could paint at. I mean, we could have people would come in, they grab their seat, start painting, they get to play a game. We'd all go to lunch. was very social. I'd be there just about every Saturday, every week.
That's the whole reason that we started Fort Wapple in the first place, was to have something like that at Adepticon, you know?
hmm
I didn't expect that it was going to be so big, like so many people wanting to sit down and hang out and paint. I planned for, like 4, 6 tables or whatever, and now there's like, I don't know, 20.
Gonna have convention hall Wapple eventually. Just a whole convention hall of people,
That
which would be
it,
awesome.
it's funny because it's not even a room. It's like the
Underneath those
area,
elevators and stairs.
yeah, under the escalators, in between the hobby seminar rooms. And people are like, "You need more tables in here," and I'm like, "There's not enough space for more tables in here."
No, it's packed, and people fight for those spots too.
Yeah, Banyan, you are a member of Fort Wapple. That's the only requirement right there.
Show up.
It's like, I want to be a member of Fort Wapple. All right.
Welcome Fort Wapple, huh?
Yeah.
Sit down and paint, or build miniatures,
That's the
or
thing.
whatever.
Think about how many people we've brought into our crews, into our lives or whatever, just by including them. I mean, my ex-roommate Cree, that's how she sort of got in. She moved in, didn't know anyone, went to the other game store, and it was fine. She's like, it was fine, but it wasn't the same. She came here and started asking questions, and people jumped up like, oh yeah, we do this and this. What are you looking for? You might want to try this and this. I can get you involved with these people. It was. I hate to say it was a store second, but it was kind of a store second. It was a hobby community first. What are we looking at? The WappleCon. Hey.
Shadows over Scotland is picking up the WizKid Paint Night Manticore kits for when you can grab friends and hang out and paint.
I'll be honest. As much as I generally dislike WizKids for multitude of reasons, their stuff is actually their paintable stuff is really good.
Yeah.
I've been very pleased. Oh, that's looking good. This is looking good.
There's a lot of people that like them, and more power to them. I have nothing bad to say about them.
I don't like it.
Admission 1 tube of oil paint. No, you need your oil paint.
Admission, cheerful attitude.
It's really, you just flash a tube of oil paint. That's your
Well, see, I'm gonna get it on a download. I'm gonna bring her a box of nerds.
I don't. Yeah, nerds, definitely. Bring me nerds.
I mean,
Also,
it's not gonna happen anyways.
I'm like, it doesn't even have to be candy. Just bring yourself, because I know.
I said at work, everyone's like,
Good
I
enough
talk
for
about
me.
stuff like, John, you're kind of nerdy. I'm like, no, there's no kind of about it.
Yeah.
Harm, I have still
nerdy.
never used oil paint.
Nor have I.
That's my winter thing. Sometime this winter, I'm going to experiment with oils for the first time, and obviously I'll be streaming that, so everybody will get to point and laugh and heckle me from the sidelines.
I mean, I ain't gonna throw stones. My house.
They'll be like, "That's not how James Wapple does it."
James Wapple ain't streaming right now, sucker. What I always say when someone's like, well, so-and-so did it this way. Well, I'm not so-and-so, so I'm going to do it this way. The fact that you don't like it means I'm more likely to do it my way anyways, because I'm a contrarian asshole sometimes.
I just say, suck it.
That's the correct response, suck it.
2 tears in the
Only
bucket.
with love. See? Because I'm not a terrible person.
Well, then you say it the way my ex-wife would have said it. Suck it, love and sparkling kisses. Sandra. That's what she would say. And it always made me chuckle.
Fort Wapple after hours. So, funny you should mention that, because at Adepticon, on Friday night, they wheel in the bar. The hotel does. They wheel in the bar.
That
Right,
hotel looks
Gonzo?
funny.
You were there, right?
Yep.
Or was that the year you weren't there?
No, I was there. There. Plus, also Adepticon, they have someone riding around on a bicycle with a refrigerator on the back of it selling beer.
See, and the funny thing I find, and this is weird, if you treat people like adults, like we're gonna have alcohol, take care, be responsible. You're more likely to get responsible people. We be like, oh, I can't have any alcohol. You got motherfuckers doing shady shit, drinking alcohol, and being stupid. Then treat people like adults. They are more likely to act like adults.
Yes.
With some minor exceptions.
Legionnaire says, I've been watching the stream for 2 years before James's stream popped up in my recommend. You know why that is, Legionnaires? Because he's only been streaming for like 3 months.
Yeah.
He's only been on Twitch for like 3 months. Yeah, I think only 3. Possibly 4. So, that's why. Someone will tell Kathy she needs to meet and watch the Wapelius Twitch streams. The Wapelius? Never heard of him. It's Leaguer Dragon, everybody.
What's up?
He says, I met Kathy first. Someone should tell James that he should meet and watch Kathy paints. He might learn something.
Oh, shit.
Gauntlet thrown.
Oh, he would tell you the same thing.
That's true. I find every painter I've met who is quote unquote good loves to meet other painters because they always learn something.
Yeah, because everybody does things differently. Everybody has their own little ways that they do stuff, and and it's fun to see how you can incorporate those things. And I love the way those walls are turning out.
Yeah, this is just the second level dry brush, and it is the difference. I like the crap out of it, but I am done for now because I only do half the time. I don't want to try and mess it up with my oily ass fingers on either side while I'm still wait for it to fully dry and everything. Besides, that's more than a half an hour, so I can stop whenever I want.
Hugsbringer? Who's Hugsbringer? Is that like a 5th chaos god that I didn't hear of?
Oh God! Since I know who Banian's talking about, I'm going to tell him he said that. He's going to find that amusing. That's our buddy, the Jason, the bringer of Hug, also known as Lieutenant Wallaby.
I would like a Jason hug.
Well, it get hard to get him out of the state.
If there's somebody called Hugsbringer, I feel like I need the hug.
Well, he'll be about waist high. He's kind of short.
I would go to Maryland.
I mean, you can come to Maryland. We got a pull-out couch.
Excuse me. I have to go to Maryland to hug someone I've never met before.
Get you some nice Mission Barbecue barbecue too.
He's one of the Mission Barbecue people?
Oh, he's part of our crew. I've known Jason since he was a young punk.
V will hug Kathy too.
There you go. Getting hugs everywhere.
I will go to Minnesota for a V hug.
That's a little closer, I think.
It is. It's 8 hours. Instead of, it's Maryland,
More than
14?
8. Yeah, more than 8.
14 maybe?
Plus, honestly, as we get closer to a certain date, I would stay further away from this particular area of the country. Just saying.
Yeah, well, I'm coming from Chicago, so, Actually, we're not doing that bad here.
Oh, the coronavirus-wise, we're doing fine. It's the rest of that bullshit.
Yes, Shadows over Scotland will travel for hugs.
We'll travel for hugs.
I would go to Scotland for a hug.
I mean, I'd go to Scotland for less than a hug, but I'll take a hug. Just think it'd be cool to see.
Do you get to have bangers and mash too? Is that a thing they do in Scotland?
I mean, technically, it's a thing they do everywhere. We just always
Black pudding, is that a Scotland thing? Because I've never had it, but I'm willing to try it.
I might be drawing the line at black pudding, but
I absolutely would try it at least one time.
Fair enough.
Kathy, I'll try it. But once I don't like it, never again.
Haggis, Banian says, like I said, I would try something one time.
And here we are back at food again.
We always return to food. That's more of a Brit thing, is it? The bangers and mash, you mean? or black pudding. I don't know.
I was taking pictures for Hobby Streak update. So I did it during the podcast.
Still Brit just about. I mean, there were people really trying to not be British, right?
Well, based on how certain things went, can you blame them? Not that I have any room to talk. Feel free to throw shade at my particular country. We ain't exactly covering ourselves in glory right now.
No.
Covering ourselves in COVID. Sorry, wrong podcast for that talk. My apologies.
I mean, I feel pretty clean, but you know. I only left the house for the second time over the last 9 months this weekend. So.
No, I had to actually go out both days. Shopping, and then I had to take Mania on shopping.
We went to a restaurant.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I actually did not go to Mission Barbecue this weekend because we were supposed to meet for our competitive play then. And we got on and we played some games, and it was fun.
I will tell you, it was a very surreal experience. You have to understand, I haven't been to a restaurant in over 9 months, I think, since March. And of course, everything's different.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Less tables.
Yeah.
Server hard to hear with the mask on.
All of us with the mask. Oh, they had these QR codes stickers on the corner of the table that you just scan with your phone and the menu comes up on your phone so that they don't have to pass menus around.
Yeah,
That is legit as shit.
It was amazing. It was awesome. So I could just look at the menu on my phone.
Well, I went to birthday lunch last week. Let me tell you, Kathy, the leftovers were fucking amazing on Monday, too. So.
Oh, I bet they were. I have leftovers from Friday night's dinner.
Yep.
And all I had was salad.
They didn't have soy sauce out on the place. You didn't have the bottles of soy sauce. They gave you packets.
Soy sauce.
I'm like, okay. I was confused for a second. I'm like, okay, that actually makes sense. I'm down.
Soy sauce is one of my favorite condiments.
Soy sauce is pretty good.
You mean colored salt?
Yeah, pretty much. A little sugar in it.
Yeah, but it mixes in with solids better than just salt does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were trying to figure out some good.
It's not salt, it's sodium.
Colored sodium water.
Mm-hmm.
And you want salt? Talk to Trevor Christensen. Oh,
delicious.
Sorry.
But you know what? I've absolutely just put salt in my hand and licked it off. So, you know.
That's not strange at all.
No, not at all. Russ says I've forgotten what it's like to go out after being housebound for 4+ years now.
Oh, it's going to be weird going to a restaurant when I can actually go to one without feeling like I'm going to catch something.
I don't generally, but like I tell you, when people walk around all the time in there without their masks, I'm giving them the stink eye.
The stink.
I kind of want to get up and be like, "Fucker, put your mask on," but that's going to start a fight.
And a side of MSG. Oh, love me some MSG, man. Trevor, who's Trevor?
That's my fault. I'm sure that was Banyan posting that, right? Let me take
That
a
was
look.
Legionnaires.
Legionnaires.
Trevor is the salt master.
Yeah. Trevor Christensen is a War Machine Hordes player and personality who was on Chain Attack, and he is known for being slightly salty. I love him. He's a good dude.
There was no alcohol involved in me licking salt off my hand. I just felt like I needed salt. And I didn't have, potato chips or anything.
I was going to say potato chips. I'm trying to think what else is. I don't know. I had some beef sticks that I got out of the vending machine at work. I bought one and it dumped 4 of them out. I'm like, all right, fine. Here's coming up.
Bonanza.
And they are so salty. I'm like, I know you use it to preserve that stuff, but generally when I get, beef jerky, you don't taste it like, oh, that's really fucking salty.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's beef jerky. This is like, wow, this is really fucking salty.
Russ wants to know what was better, the salt or the sand, I would have to say the salt because A, it tastes better than sand. I know, you're surprised. B, it dissolves in your mouth, unlike
Like
sand.
sand.
And yes, I do know this.
I do too. I've had sand in my mouth enough. Well, hell, I've had sand in my eye. Why do you think my eyes are so fucked up? Don't suggest either, actually. Salt, probably not salt in the eye either. Probably as much the same thing.
Oh, either one, yeah.
It's no bueno.
Legionnaires, all the people who don't wear their mask correctly makes me wish for telekinesis. I would slap them all and then snap their mask back on.
Yeah, that's good.
The nose.
It's like one of those big, full, suits. Full environmental suits, the NBC suits, and just walk up and you're like, push. Mask, bitch.
Saw some lady with the mask, that was covering her mouth but not her nose, and I'm like, does she just
There's one person at work who wears
don't
a
get it?
face
Yeah,
shield-
dick nose. Dick nose.
Yep,
a
the dick
face shield
nose.
with a mask. I'm like,
Oh, I love that
Oh,
there's
that's
a name
one
for that now.
face shield with no mask doesn't do anything.
Dick nose. That's the best. So disparaging. It's perfect. V says, I just assume that people who don't wear their masks properly also don't know how to put condoms on. Yeah, that's
Isn't that a double problem, though? That's sort of defying, unfortunately, Darwinism.
yes.
Because they're going to procreate. When we're like, there's too many people, we shouldn't procreate. And they're like, more people. Well, yeah, sorry. Getting a little off topic.
Legion. I don't know what that is, Legionnaires. I didn't watch Game of Thrones. I don't know what the shame nun is.
I don't know what this is. Yeah, I've watched Game of Thrones either, but I have an idea.
It's mandatory here in Chicago, but there's still people who are idiots.
Yeah,
What?
it's mandatory most places, but people are indeed still idiots. And the only problem I have with some certain restaurants are like, well, it's not our place to tell them to put their masks on. Actually, categorically, it is your fucking place to put them with their masks on. Tell them to put their masks on or get the fuck out. Or, if you don't want to, just ask me to, and I will be more than happy to tell them to put their masks on or get the fuck out.
Yeah.
I'll even use nice words. Like,
veered off of our topic.
Well, we
Yeah,
got started on
that's
food
fine.
again, and that equates to going somewhere.
food.
Nature
Oops.
finds a way.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm hungry. We ate all those steakums.
I was thinking your little thing about getting together on a weeknight or whatever, or a weekday to hang out with friends and paint. I haven't done that in forever. And actually, it's pretty easy to do nowadays.
It is,
It's
especially
easier all the time.
like V suggested to me, and I didn't realize it, but you can do a voice chat in the Discord DM.
You can also, because we tested it today, do a Google Meet. We haven't tested the full thing of it, but definitely a Google Meet can do it too, because you actually can, I wouldn't say stop someone from getting in, but you pretty much set the pass. Nobody has a link, so if you can have just a few of your friends, if you want to say, come
Mhm.
in.
Yeah, you don't put
Google
that out to the
Meet.
whole public.
I mean, because Zoom only limits you to 45 minutes, so I mean, that's not long enough in my opinion.
Unless you actually have a Zoom account. But
Correct, but
who's going to buy a Zoom account for just that stuff?
All right, so I want to do this sandy texture. So
What are you using for the sandy textured stuff?
well, I used the color I used was Pro Acryl's Golden Brown, which really comes in and it really looks good. But of course, I want to wash it. And
What's the texture? Was it the GW texture?
no, it's just glued down sand, very fine sand.
Okay.
Very, 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 very fine sand. I bought some because
How fine is that sand?
it's
That's so
fine.
fine.
It's so fine.
So fine.
Looks
It's
sweet.
so fine. Doodling, doodling, doodling. See, I just took that in a different direction.
So fine. But need to wash it and do some stuff on it. But I think the soft tone is going to be too dark. It may be too dark.
Strong tone. Bam. And you can always, once you put it on, just rinse your brush and just get a watery brush and
Yeah. So I was going to do this.
go over it to thin it
It's
a
still
little.
too wet. The paint's still too wet. Gotta let it dry
Oh,
some more.
yeah, you gotta let the paint dry totally.
I thought it was dry already. It looked like it, but it's not. Put that to the side. Put that to the side. Let's work on. I really need to do his gems. So with that, but I want to do the gems in contrast because it'll shine through really cool. So let's look up Infinity Gauntlet pictures.
There you go.
Oh,
I can't stress that enough. If you're painting something, look some pictures up online. Look up anything similar to that. Get some ideas. You'll get all sorts of crazy ideas. You know, that's how I came up with my camo scheme for my Rebel Troopers I'm working on. Just look at some stuff online. I took an existing camo scheme and made it a little crazier. All that stuff great. I mean, one of the young ladies who owned the local store started painting, you know, some old Legend of the Five Rings models, and she wanted to paint them the Naga that look up like real snakes. So she just got some pictures of snakes and did a bang up job on it. Because it's so much easier. You got a reference there to sort of match what that reference is.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. If you have a picture reference, it will just make your life so much easier. If you know that you want to make something look like, you know, an existing animal or something, or do, you know, like a leopard pattern on your knolls or whatever, you know, just Google image search that leopard pattern and, you know, get a couple reference pictures. It will help so much. Trashrama says, so I have an owl bear I printed off for my solar desk turntable. And I thought I was going to print one off for a friend, but I forgot I had it scaled to 50% size. So I have a wee owl bear. Oh, it'd be cute. A little cute owl bear. Is it a baby owl bear?
It'd still take your face off, unfortunately, but it'd be super
Yes.
cute. So.
Shadows over Scotland says the other reason to have lots of work in progress minis, so that while you're waiting for the paint to dry, you can work on something else.
Cannot suggest that enough. Like just having a little, like I have these walls out here. I don't go, if you will, hot and heavy on any one model or anything. So that way I've got other stuff to go. If I'm not unit painting. Painting unit, it's a lot easier because you've got the next model in the line. But if you're just painting, you know, like when I was painting this knight, I was painting the knight with other models, with Venom and all. So I've got stuff to go back and forth while I'm waiting for it to go. Sometimes you're waiting for a brainstorm. That's just a good idea for keeping your focus too. Also, when we need that change of pace, because you're getting a little bit of that fatigue there, the change pace model or everything is a great idea. That's why I try so hard to get models assembled to a point where I can paint them, bases and all, so I can be like, I want to do something else. Let's just go.
Oh, Shadows over Scotland posted a link. What is it?
Oh God.
Oh, that is adorable. Oh, that's so cute.
And the Chimera Cub.
Leaguer Dragon, if you're still in the chat, you need to look at this. It's so cute.
Oh God, Kathy, go down and look at the gallery at the bottom.
Ah.
They're all
Chimera Cub. Oh my God. That's awesome. Oh, so cute.
yes. Whoever did the pictures for this Metal Weave Games, amazeballs. Those are the best. I think it might actually. Is that even a? It's a book actually. It's a book.
Wow.
Let's see.
Oh, and the gallery down at the bottom has a ton of different baby monsters.
Yes. So if you go to Metal Weave weave.games/baby-bestiary. There is the book and everything. That's really cool. You can support them. Oh God, I shouldn't tell you this. Can I think of I think I got a calendar.
Shadows over Scotland has the book.
Oh shit. That's awesome. That's really cool. That's that good heartwarming content we need.
Legionnaires is looking to find cheap shipping on Stein. We need the Steinelres too in our household. We're out of black.
So that's when you should priming, right? I could use that because I'm almost out of my Vallejo surface primer, and the backup I bought was lost, which doesn't matter a lot, but it does look a little weird.
I seriously need the Steinelres. Russ says I need to find a better way to store work in progress models. I try to build models. If I can assemble... Wow, I totally didn't read that right. If I can, as any sub-assemblies easily get misplaced in my hobby area. I still feel like I messed up saying reading that. I'm sorry. I can't read. Our reading is done for the evening. Just in time for the media section.
Oh shit. I don't even know.
All right, hold on a second. Let me finish up this real quick.
USA Airbrush is where that's where you get all the Badger stuff in the US. That's our distributor. So, yeah. Maybe we just drive up to maybe we just drive up to the Badger Airbrush factory. Knock on the door. Hey. I mean, they're only on the other side of town from us.
Need a yellow. Need a yellow.
Do it, says Legionnaires. Do it.
Do it.
Then you can visit with Ken, too.
There you go.
At a respectable social distance.
Of course.
Ken gives good hugs, too. We come for your Steinelres. We have enough airbrushes. I don't use them.
I
need to
hook mine up. I need to, but a lot of stuff I take a lot of time doing by hand would probably be quicker by airbrush.
I need a new airbrush, and they're so back ordered right now, it's not even funny. All right, cover this up. Okay, so I've got some work done.
It's time to snooze.
Oh, I didn't drink enough of my alcohol. What's wrong with me, John?
Oh my God, that owl bear is adorable.
As the kids say nowadays, totes adorbs.
Totes adorbs, yes.
It's hot in here.
So cute. You need another one, another small one, so they can be like a little family, little mom and 2 kids, or dad and 2 kids, whatever. I don't know how owl bears.
They're owl bears, so probably.
Legionnaires, I would use my airbrush, but I need some primer. Yeah. I would use my primer with my brush if I had primer. Actually, I do. I still have a bunch of free samples, just not black. And honestly, I'm going to be painting over the primer anyways, so it doesn't have to be black. So.
Just checking your werewolf, Kathy.
Yay, my werewolf.
Werewolf. Bear Castle.
Russ says, knock knock, here to do a spot inspection to make sure you are following COVID regulations. Just load all that primer that will fit into my car whilst I check you're wearing masks. Yes. He needs all the owl bears. When an owl and a bear get very confused. When an owl and a bear get drunk.
All right.
Trashorama has the Reaper Vex. We have one of those around here. Haven't tried it yet. Well, I don't. It's in Jim's airbrushing thing downstairs, and I don't go there. I don't go into that area.
I don't go there.
That's exactly it. I don't. I can't. It's just, it's chaos. It's utter chaos. I'm afraid I'm going to tip something over and, no. So if I wanted to do airbrushing, I would have to make myself a station upstairs in the light of day.
There is actually a new TV show about monsters, which I'm going to try watching sometime this week.
Not that Monsterland one.
Yeah? Is it good or bad?
We watched the first episode of that, and at first I thought, okay, this is weird. And there's like some supernatural something going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept waiting. And finally, there was some supernatural thing going on, but it had absolutely fucking nothing to do with what happened at the end, which was disappointing and depressing as hell. And I'm like, why would anybody watch a show like this right now?
If I want disappointing and depressing as hell, I have The Real World.
I anti-recommend it. I recommend people stay as far away from that depressing steaming pile as they possibly can.
Now I'm going to have to see it to see how bad the steaming pile depressing it is.
And then somebody said the first episode is the best one. And I'm like, because that one, So there's my review of that.
Well, let me go with one that was that wasn't a bad review. It's one of my Met reviews for the week. It's on Netflix called Vampires versus the Bronx. Done in 2020. It's a Netflix movie. It's pretty much vampires are coming in and buying up all the property in the Bronx. And then a couple of kids are trying to save this area of the Bronx and keep people in. While I was watching it, I had a really funny vibe watching it. It reminded me of you might remember the old, I think it was like 80s to early 90s, the Monster Squad.
It was 80s.
It was the 80s. I'm pretty sure it was the 80s. It was called the Monster Squad.
Of course I'm familiar with the Monster Squad.
Great movie, by the way. Really, really good. It kind of reminded me of that because
Wolfman doesn't have nards.
Wolfman has nards. Because it's about 3 kids that are learning about werewolves, or learning about vampires and how to fight them. And in today's age, where do they go to learn about fighting vampires? They go watch the Blade movie.
Oh, that's solid. I'd watch Blade.
It's better than Twilight.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yes.
So they study the Blade movie on how to fight vampires and all that stuff.
Lost Boys?
Do what?
Could they at least just go on with the Lost Boys?
No, they watched Blade, the first movie. And it was it's not a bad show. It's really not. They're teenage kids in a modern day, trying to fight vampires, and in the Bronx. And it wasn't bad. It was a good sit and just turn your brain off type movie. It gives my man rating of 2.5 because it wasn't great, but it wasn't bad either. It was just a good, solid little romp of young kids trying to be hot guys, all into the girls type thing. Trying to
Did they at least have a very long scene with techno? With their techno music?
No, it was more like rap and stuff. It was more modern day stuff, so. But I mean, it wasn't bad. It just wasn't great. It was just there. So I mean, if you got like an hour and a half to burn and you just want to watch
it's a movie that existed.
Yes. Type thing. So I mean, it wasn't bad. So I give it my man rating. There's worse things out there to watch.
Oh yes.
But um,
There are other things that are so much better.
Yes.
That's why 15 minutes into the second episode of Monsterland, we were like, nope, let's go back to watching Rick and Morty.
I got better things to do with my life. Speaking of which, you should probably give us a review of Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty, fucking awesome. It's one of those shows that I think people either really like it or they really hate it. And I can understand, I can see both sides of that. I personally really enjoy it because it's kind of a theater of the absurd. It's just life is absurd, existence is absurd, and that's exactly how Rick Sanchez lives his life. Everything is pointless, and there's a multiverse where people exist in all these different universes, and it's like the master of portals. I just, there's so much weird stuff going on in Existence is Pain, Captain. And he says, yeah, it's ridiculous. It's
They actually had a
absurd.
version of Rick and Morty in Borderlands 3 as a random, unique villain that target that could show up.
Szechuan sauce.
Oh yeah, I know about that. I got that meme.
Banyan. Oh god. Oh, poor Morty.
There you go.
Sometimes I think that Morty is actually Rick as a kid, and he's like his own grandfather. And that's why he's so fucked up.
Possible.
I did finish Enola Holmes. I watched about half of it and then continued watching it a couple of days later. If you like Sherlock Holmes stuff, you'll like this. It actually was very, very entertaining. I was pleasantly surprised. Um, Definitely, it's female Sherlock Holmes type thing. It wasn't, and that's the best way to put it. Very solid, good drama, good action, good, mystery. It was really, really, really a good Sherlock Holmes from the sister's point of view, and the sister doing all the Sherlock Holmes stuff. Always looking at the camera, watching it. She'd say something and say something to the camera. Part of the mystery and what she's supposed to do and how she's supposed to do it. It was pretty solid. I give it like one to maybe. I mean, it would be pushing it for a 1.5, but a very solid, good movie. Um, Not a ton of shaky cam, but a ton of good fun. I thought it really was good. I liked I liked their version of Sherlock Holmes because he had a little bit more emotion. Moriarty and everything was good and solid. Not Moriarty. His other brother.
Mycroft.
Oh, Mycroft, yeah.
Mycroft was amazing, and the Mycroft and Nola bouncing off each other type thing and shit they gave each other was really good. Um, so definitely recommend it. It's just a quick movie, not too bad. Like roughly around 2 hours. So definitely go watch it. Um, I could deal with another one. I could deal with her as Enola Holmes doing another movie.
I heard from someone they were talking about spinning off a Henry Cavill as in yet another Sherlock Holmes series because there aren't enough Sherlock Holmes series out there.
I mean,
Re-examining every aspect of Sherlock Holmes.
Which I did watch another episode of the Sherlock Holmes BBC series. I haven't watched
good also.
Which I haven't seen all of it yet, so I was like, oh, I need to watch that because the it was really good.
I never saw the final season of that one. And it's on Netflix, so I should really probably do that because I really enjoyed that series overall.
Yeah, I like that one too. I have not seen the final. I sort of got pulled away by other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't. I just finished, I guess you could say season 1. We just finished that this last Thursday. Watched the episode of that, and so we'll have to wait and see how it goes. I mean, I'm enjoying it. It's definitely good. No problems about it so far.
Oh, well, I only got one movie in this week, but movie I watched is a 1984 movie called Streets of Fire, which you all may or may not know.
I've only heard of it. I didn't actually watch it.
Oh. Uh-oh. Give me a breakdown, John.
Breakdown? So it's best summed up by its opening preamble where it says, a rock and roll fable in another time, another place. Because it is this weird mashup of like 80s and 50s. Which makes sense because they say every 30 years you're like looking back at the 30 years before it as being, so great, and you take some influences from that. But it's very 50s, but it's got some 80s, like music video, that kind of stuff. But it feels very sort of 50s, but it's not committal as to when it is, and it doesn't need to be. It's not committal as to where it is. Like, you don't ever see a state or anything. You don't need to know. It's not important. The whole plot starts off with a young lady, Ellen Aim, she's a singer, played by Diane Lane, a very young Diane Lane. And she's playing a benefit concert at her hometown. You get all this through quick exposition by her manager, Billy Fish, played by Rick Moranis, which is topical. And she, basically a motorcycle gang led by none other than Willem Dafoe, comes and kidnaps her. Well, a young lady who's at the concert calls her brother to come back to rescue her because they used to be lovers back in the day. Enter Tom Cody, played by Michael Pare, in probably his best role. That's not saying a lot for Michael Pare. No offense, Michael Pare. He's not a great actor. I mean, what can he say? He's still acting. He's not terrible, but definitely doesn't hold a candle like the leading men from like today. But it's got pretty much like an all-star cast because you've got Willem Dafoe as leader of the Bombers, the motorcycle gang. Diane Lane is Ellen Aim. You've got Rick Moranis, Amy Madigan. You've got Rick Rossovich from 10 Seconds of Top Gun and some other movies fame. You've got Lee Ving, who played Mr. Body in Clue, in addition to being the lead singer of an actual punk band. And then they pick up this band at one point. So basically, he goes in, he convinces Rick Moranis' character, Billy Fish, to pay him to rescue Ellen because they didn't break up well. And he recruits Amy Madigan, who is a female soldier named McCoy, to go rescue her. So they literally just go rescue the damsel. So they go in, rescue her, and on the way back, they go through a couple things to try and get back to town. It's not super fast paced. The action's all in quick spurts, which is cool. And it's really almost like it's a rock and roll fable. They put all the songs in the movie for a good portion of the movie. Like, it's not quite like a bunch of music videos added together, but there is definitely that sort of MTV type of element to it. On their way back, they need another ride, so they get a bus with the Sorrells, who, like, half the Sorrells are names also. Robert Townsend is playing one of them. Michael T. Williamson's playing one of them. Grandel Bush, who's been in a bunch of the movies, including Die Hard, is playing one of them. It was like, holy shit, the people just come out of the woodwork. And even some of the secondary cast you'll see here and there, like, having Bill Paxton's in it as a bartender. There's a bunch of actors you'll recognize their voice or their face. It's a good cast, which honestly the director Walter Hill is really good at. He's done a lot of movies. He's got a definite style to him, and this whole thing is very stylistic. It's very, very interesting. But I love it. It is, like I said, very rock and roll. I love the soundtrack, most of it. The only song anyone would ever notice is I Can Dream About You, which was the only one that actually made any sort of hit. But it's very cool. It's not super violent. It's good for, it's very light PG. It's only one moment that Sonny Questionable went to help get her away. He punches his girlfriend, but like, what are you? Okay, sure. That's the tough guy thing to do, I guess. You punch her and knock her out. but it's very enjoyable. I'm gonna give it. I'll give it one Space Herpy. It is very enjoyable as long as you're okay with moderately paced stuff. It is definitely not as fast paced as things are today, but does a good job of showing and not telling, or telling in the context of the story and not just exposition. It comes up in, when Rick Moranis' character, and he's playing a bit of that sort of promoter sleaze bag almost, not pure sleaze bag, but definitely that kind of guy. And Rick Moranis is great, of course.
Oh yeah.
And it comes up in natural conversations, like I can be, he's like, the guy's like, hey, look at that crowd. He's like, yep, and I don't have a dime between them all. I can be making real money tonight rather than coming back here to our hometown for some charity gig. And that's all the backstory you need. It doesn't waste time with shit you don't need, backstory and all. You get it all through natural. Like Tom Cody was in the Army. That's all you need to know. And then it's just got standard, sort of solid action and cool soundtrack and just very interesting movie, especially including a fight between Willem Dafoe and Michael Pare at the end that is not what you'd expect. So there you go. I recommend it. I don't know where you can stream it for free because shock of shock, it's a movie John loves and so for a while he owns it. Sort of the way I am. Sorry, not sorry. Who's got something?
I watched. I've had it on my Amazon queue for a while, and I finally was like, I'm gonna sit here Saturday and just veg, and I watched Guns Akimbo.
Why would you do that? That doesn't look good.
So Guns Akimbo, starring Daniel Radcliffe and Samara. I can't remember her last name. But it is about a guy that pretty much has no life, that is thrust into a killing game and everything else. The music is awesome. The action is awesome. The story and all the other part suck. But you can tell when they were filming this, we know that we are nothing but an action flick, and we're going to play it up as hard as possible. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't good either. The action was really, really fun to watch. The story was pretty stupid. You knew what was going to go on. You knew how it was going to work. But I mean, that's the best way to put it, Legionnaires. It is hilariously bad, but it knows it's hilariously bad too. So that's the thing. It knows it's hilariously bad, and it plays up to that too. So it leads to that. It knows it's not going to be Oscar-winning performance, or it's going to do any of that stuff. It knows it's supposed to be stupid and campy and moronic. So it actually was pretty decent. I give it about a 2 Space Herpes, because it just, you kind of just meld with it and you're like, don't give a damn. Music is great though. The music is wonderful in it.
Like, a good music can help a movie. Like, people will bitch about it. And actually, now I remember what I was going to watch. But I like having some good, actual music melded into a movie at the appropriate points. It really, I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago, really
it
makes
changes
it connect and it hits you.
Yeah. It really went really good. It was trying to do, the music really fit what they were doing in there, and so it was really, really good. I mean, like I said, 1, maybe pushing 2, but I mean, it might not be some people's things, but it was actually fun to watch. I enjoyed it.
Like about a 2 to me, because a lot of people I respect liked it, but I know that sometimes their tastes run different than mine.
Yeah.
But definitely, it looked like that from what I heard.
Yeah. So I mean, it like I said, it was. I'd recommend it. It's on. Yeah. It's pretty much. It's just. It knows that it's being campy, and it's worth it.
That's important.
Yeah. You can tell that they had to do some retakes, or they probably cracked themselves up doing stupid shit, and the blooper reel probably would have been hilarious to watch.
Oh God, I missed that. From like the old Smokey and the Bandit and
yeah.
Cannonball Run, all the what's his name? I forget his name, the stuntman who ended up becoming a director, who directed all Burt Reynolds stuff for there, Smokey the Bandit and Cannonball Run 1 and 2 and all that. I really missed that. That was super fun. And like the Jackie Chan outtakes.
Mhm.
God, so good.
Oh yeah, those are best.
I've watched Horns, and Horns wasn't bad either.
Hey, Arathu.
Arathu got it in one.
I want to do a quick no spoiler review of Raised with Wolves. I fucking love the show.
Okay.
I love this show. The ending is an oh my god type ending, and it's already been renewed for another season, so I'm happy. So I'm like all for it. If you're not watching Raised by Wolves on HBO Max, please go do it. It is a very unique sci-fi. It is very interesting. Acting is really good. Everything's solid in this. Go watch it. I would give it maybe 1 space herpes, if anything, to half a space herpy, but it's solid. Kathy, I think you would really like it more than anything.
I probably would. It sounds
just
like
because
fun.
he loves the shout outs. My boss watched it and didn't think it was bad, but really thought that it taxed credulity a bit too much for his tastes.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty credulous, so.
But the one I do want to talk about and go in a little in depth is I watched a series, it's 8 episodes, called Utopia. Utopia is a remake from a British TV series called Utopia. And this series is not for the faint of heart. I watched and said, when I was watching it, I was like, oh shit. When was this filmed? And they actually finished filming this series on like October of last year. Utopia is about a group of geeks that are really big into this comic book. And this comic book artist was able to predict things that happened in the future when he did the artwork. And the last comic never came out. And so it's been like this cult favorite, so on and so forth. This couple finds the last, issue type thing. And so everybody's clamoring for it, and everybody wants it, and everybody wants this, and everybody wants it. And they find out that the comic book actually predicts the end of the world.
Oh.
And the end of the world is... You find this out in this thing, I'm not spoiling. You find out the end of the world is caused by a new virus that hits the world and has a new pandemic. Every episode, they actually have a warning that this is not relevant to what is going on today, so on and so forth. Because this was actually written, I think it was back in 2003. I think is when the original BBC aired. It has Rainn Wilson in it as a big one. John Cusack, which really hasn't done anything forever. A bunch of small no-name type actors and actresses. I'll tell you, I really enjoyed this because it keeps you on your toes and you don't know what the fuck is going on.
I had somebody else just recommending that show.
But it is, it's dark. It's a dark comedy. You can tell there's British influence in the stuff they're doing. It is a dark comedy in places. You don't expect things to happen, and it happens. It is violent. It is bloody. But it is solid. Everybody's comparing it to the UK version, saying it's horrible compared to the UK version. I never saw the UK version, so I can't compare it. I'm going to see if I can try to find some episodes of it and see. But I thought it was interesting that they finished filming in like October of 2019, and the story, it's just now hitting everything because, and like I said, at the beginning of every episode, they have a warning stating this is not what's going on, in any, what is it? In relation to what's happening in the world today.
And you're saying it's a comic that predicted the future? The premise?
It's a comic book that predicted the future.
What?
Yeah. But really, it's really solid. The acting's really good. The characters are great. The funny parts are funny as hell. And the dark parts are dark as shit. But it's really solid storytelling. I highly recommend it. It gets a, I'd say half to zero for me. I really enjoyed it. It kept me on my toes. But you know me, it's hard for me to concentrate on a TV show. I was like, you wanted to talk? Yes. I paused. Okay. Answered a text message. Paused. There was no way I could not be glued to this. Watching
Right,
it
That's
all
so
how
the
I
watch
time.
it the
felt
same
about
way I
the
watch
movie
everything.
that I saw.
So I mean,
Oh, yeah. Hit us, Kathy. You watched a movie this week.
I watched a movie today.
oh yeah,
Okay.
you did.
I watched Red, the 2010 movie starring Bruce Willis, among a huge cast of
Yeah,
amazing
cast.
people, and I was riveted for the entire thing. And I did have to pause it, like if I was messaging somebody or something, because I I couldn't miss. I have to rewatch it because I feel like there's a few things that I might have missed. So darn, I'm going to be rewatching it because I liked it that much.
I knew you'd like that movie. That's
Russ, oh, it's fantastic. Russ says, "What have you done with the real Kathy?" No, I do like these movies. I don't watch that many movies. Uh, so, you know, it. I really, really enjoyed this one. I was like, zero space herpes. This is like immediately. I immediately was sucked in. There's this guy in a bathrobe, like wandering around his house at the beginning. I'm just like sucked in. I'm like, so I wonder what's going on with this guy. And he's like, ripping up his check and he's calling the place, and I can see what he's doing. I mean, I can understand what he's doing there. Like he's lonely, he wants to talk to. And I only just found out today that there's a second one, so I have to watch that too, of course.
I've not seen the second one yet.
So yeah, the second one will maybe be watched next weekend.
Let me know if you plan on it. I'll see if I can watch it too.
Oh yeah.
A tag team review like we used
That
to
would
do.
be fun. Yeah. So yes, see Red, watch it. It's free on Amazon Prime right now.
Yep. John Malkovich, huh?
John
Oh,
Malkovich,
yeah.
and I love him to begin with. Like the whole, I mean, Ernest Borgnine's character,
Yep.
and of course I love Carl Urban, and everybody. They were all good.
They're all great.
Helen Mirren.
Yes, Helen Mirren. I mean,
Richard Dreyfuss. And the music.
Richard Dreyfuss isn't bad, but Richard Dreyfuss is easily the worst part of the movie.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Yeah, still not bad. Yeah. The pig at the air. The pig.
The pig. I'm getting the pig.
Get the pig. I'm like, I don't know what that means, but he's excited about it, and so that's going to be awesome. You know it's going to be.
I feel much the same way when someone calls me old man.
What? Oh, yeah. I love that where he shoots the thing and then
It's like, it is absolutely, at points, asinine. Like, that is not even remotely realistic. You're like,
right.
I don't care, because it was
but
so
you
fun.
know that's what he's going to do also.
Yeah.
You know that's what's about to happen, and so you love it.
That moment made it on the Mythbusters. We're like, can we test this to see if this would work?
I laughed out loud at that point, and I didn't care. I'm like, I'm along for the ride. But yeah, there was I recommend that one.
Yeah.
Monsterland can suck it. But this was fantastic.
There you go.
And that's our show.
I'm John.
I'm Gonzo.
Kathy.
Guys,
Guys,
everyone, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Watch out for each other. Just make sure everyone's cool. You know, this is 2020. Things are crazy. We all need to be looking out for each other. We are better together, and we can keep everyone in good spirits and good health by doing the right things.
I agree. Guys.
Arathi, you totally should make a movie. Yeah, I saw the big graphic novel you did, so that would be that would be fun.
Please look after each other.
Wear your damn mask.
Wear your damn mask.
Damn mask. Over your nose.
No
Mouth
sticks.
and nose. She wasn't clear. I have to be clear. Mouth and nose.